Hi, and welcome back. Today we are talking about landscapes and shading. Landscapes are works of art that feature scenes of nature. This includes mountains, lakes, gardens, rivers, and any scenic view. Landscapes can be oil paintings, watercolors, gouache, pastels, or prints of any kind. We're going to make our own landscape. We are going to use pencils, erasers. If you have access to a Q-tip, that would be super. And you're also going to need to print out a coloring sheet from the Brooklyn Museum. The coloring sheet, we're actually going to use just pencil to color it in. And we're going to create different values using shading. Values are a range from light to dark or dark to light that we can create just with pencil. And looking at this image right here, you can see that we can do that by coloring very hard and solid. We can do it by scrumbling, which is almost like a circle-y, squiggly line. And we can do it by cross-hatching. You can use any of these techniques today when you are coloring your coloring sheet of a very famous painting. This painting is titled A Storm in the Rocky Mountains, Mount Rosalie by Albert Berdstadt, and it was painted in 1866. It is a perfect example of what landscape paintings in the 19th century looked like. They focused on brooding storms, lots of shadows, light coming in from unexpected directions. They weren't necessarily perfectly realistic, but they really helped your eye move around to see lots of different things. So I've got my coloring sheet out and I'm ready to start. This video is going to show me working pretty fast because otherwise it would have taken about 40 minutes for you to watch me color this whole thing in. But what you can see here is I'm creating a really dark cloud, much like the dark cloud in the painting, and I'm blending up using a Q-tip to create lighter values in and on the coloring sheet. So as I color very, very darkly, I'm going to smooth it out with a Q-tip and by just going over it with little circles. And then as I build up color on the end of the Q-tip, I can transfer that color and use it in other places on the design. You'll notice that I switched how I was holding my pencil, so I'm using a shading technique where I have my whole hand wrapped around the pencil and I'm using the side of the lead rather than pushing down hard on the tip. All of those clouds are going to need some detail, and you can really take some time to come up with what shadows you would like to create, what images you would like to create with your shading. Building up color is a key part of this process. So when there's a line on the coloring sheet, sometimes I will go over it and make that line appear to be a little bit darker and fill in around those areas. So there's a mountain sticking up back there, and I'm going to lighten that up as we move forward. Erasing any extra marks that I have that I'm not happy with. You'll notice again I'm using a shading technique by lightly using the edge of the pencil and then going back in and darkening it so that I'm going to get a more robust color. Build that color up and then make sure to blend it in using that Q-tip. You can always use your finger, but I will say that a Q-tip is a really, really nice complement to give you a lot more control than if you just rely on your finger alone. I have shading in different places, and I'm going to use my eraser to create some sunlight peeking through those clouds, much like in the original piece that we are drawing our inspiration from today. Those eraser marks are just going to create some sunlight streaks, and I'm going to make sure that space where the sunlight is really coming through, that I've erased any pencil marks there. Keep working and making sure to think about what How are your lines looking? Do you want to make eraser marks so that they're really, really streaky, or how do you want that to look? And experiment with layering your values, the darkness and lightness of your pencil tones. So I'm pretty happy with the lightness, and I'm going to think about what other shadows I might want to build up and finish up here. When you get finished, make sure and post it to either Google Classroom or Seesaw, whichever your classroom teacher is using, and or send it to me on Instagram. I love seeing your work, and since we're not working together right now, it'd be really great if I could see your artwork. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.